Good morning and welcome to my channel. Now, it's been a couple of days since I've actually was able to record any video and give you guys information. First, I'd like to say that this is all channel information that I receive, briefings and things of sorts that we get, and a lot of it isn't really relayed immediately. So this information now is just a compilation of what's happened maybe within the last week or so. I first like to start by saying that you can be in a dream state and you can also channel information that way, and it's easier for you to do so. And I have that information which happened as recent as a few nights ago. So the question, I think, was something to the effect of, why is this happening this way specifically? And the answer is because it's a harvest. And they've added by saying only 30 of yours will be able to experience this for the first time in as many as your 80 to 100 Earth lifetimes. So if a human being lives for 100 years, just to round off, we're talking about 10,000 Earth lifetimes. 30 of you will experience this, okay? Just sit back and relax. Let all this energy flow in through you. Just live your life, but I'm letting you know what's going to happen. Because it's been so long since this, information just kind of seeps in slowly. And I believe, and I'm just saying this, that it'll be a mixture of men and women, not one specific gender over the other. So bear with the situation and the process that's going to happen. Your activation codes will be sent during the winter solstice. Okay? They specifically put a hyphen between winter solstice. Also, the writing isn't exactly what I'm saying. I'm just making it grammatically correct. We participated in their arrival. Now, this is a different channeling. These are the Lyran Wars and how the Lyrans started to experience negativity, to experience the opposite end of the spectrum. When does ever water turn hot to cold? When can you ever tell the difference between night and day? Right? You can't. So I have to say it that it's positive or negative, or give it context for this 3D physical body that we're in. So this is what this Lyran is saying about the whole situation and how it started. We participated in their arrival. There was an inquiry amongst about the purpose of their visit. They determined that we were or are food source, a predatory race. Farmers and builders were us. We had the nicest garments on, the brightest, cleanest, shiniest you could ever lay your eyes on. Our farming abilities were progressing. I was a farmer. My farming abilities were great. We were progressing in a way that allowed us to inhabit other worlds. So I understood this paragraph to mean that they were able to go to other worlds and probably did not. They could have if they wanted to, but they didn't. That's what I understood after writing this down. As luck would have it, our tools were easily converted into weapons. And as now weapon holders, we became world defenders. So this predatory race that was going effectively, I guess, attacking another world full with other beings were, you know, wanted to take over the planet. Those who fled were being followed. They were on their own. Then it says the word valor. Some of us thought, what's buying a few years of life meant if we would still die on our feet? We stayed. Not all meant glory. I could write a few grim outcomes, but know that many are already available. You can pick one for yourself. So he gets very emotional here, explaining what it felt like to have to go through this. What I do remember is that there were some of us who were able to go into the astral plane at will. So the spiritual advancement was well enough that they could go, and I'll explain this a little better earlier on, but they can go from physical to the astral plane at will. Okay. All right, so this is a message then from another being. That previous person was masculine. This is a more of a feminine being. And I almost fell asleep thinking about this, and unusually, it was a huge disconnect for me that I felt, but I managed to receive this channeled message, if you understand what I mean. And it's very fresh information, so I'm just going to read it as I go. To bring us closure. Okay? To bring us closure, it's what it reads. Give me a sec. To bring us closure that we need, I am working on a supercomputer to find the best algorithm, shortest path, and highest possible outcome. All bases are cleared. Surface population is working around the clock. I am working from my ship. I am not on your ship at this time, so they're in separate ships. I have triangle pointy ears. My ears are yellow with an oval iris, black. My features are soft. My mouth is slim, not like my earth mouth or any human mouth. Do you see me now? We have light brown to darker tone of brown with black stripes. I'm here with you now because I exist, and I exist because I know that I am real. We are both the same. I can appear and disappear at will. You chose a more human-looking body. I chose not to present myself at this time. So this is a picture that I drew a while back, and it resonated with me because, let's see. You know, I thought I had it. But it was a very human looking being. He had golden hair. He had green eyes. And was just very Nordic looking. Very Nordic looking. So let me continue. For this incarnation, I was given a chance to participate. You wanted something to talk about, here it is. Yes, I have guardians and protectors, so do you. My participation now reaps reward and balances my energies, which you which you know are quite ecstatic. For lack of previous participation, I was given a chance now to balance. Your participation have made you more whole. All I need now is to acclimate. For now, I am grounded. So there's this impulse of energy from this being that it's the, it's like turning on a light bulb. You immediately get this burst of energy coming at you, right? And her energies are very static. But now it's begun to simmer down. There's been an opposite balancing effect that has occurred, right? So now they're able to balance the energy. While one of them is whole, the other still needs to acclimate. So this is something that I wrote for myself here in this next sentences, because not everything happens very linear. Everything has a flow. Everything has a cause and effect. It has a rhythm to things. So I wrote this next sentence here myself, personally, but it goes along with this. We live this lifetime to maximize all of our gifts and clear all of our own faults. A major obstacle then becomes your life goal, surrounded by minor obstacles that require attention and make you better. Shall we continue, my beloved? I choose not to incarnate at this time. Not until my assistance required of me is complete. And it has allowed me now to balance my energies and take on another task for this time period that we are in. That's why we're both on earth, to complete tasks that makes us whole while participating in union. This is my personal note regarding this. So it seems like this being and talking to another, explaining that apparently she is an incarnate on earth, but her beloved is here on earth. Her lack of participation previously has caused her to have energies too bouncy and needs to balance those energies in order to incarnate on planet Earth again. So I like history. I like these kind of things that, they attract me. My social studies in high school was like my favorite subject of them all. So I made a comparison to two things that were quite opposite to each other, but made sense in the context of history, which where I come from is my area of what interests me, not expertise, but it interests me. So I thought of Marie Antoinette and the founding fathers, right? Marie Antoinette, for lack of information about what we know of this person, because history is only written by the victors, but what we have is what we have. So apparently Marie Antoinette could have probably made better choices, and the movie portrays her as being very, it's always a party while the people outside are hungry, etc. Lack of participation. There could have been more done that wasn't done. In comparison to the founding fathers, which in fact gave up most of their freedoms or most of their wealth, their value, to bring forth a country that was being born. Okay? So that is how I see this scenario playing out for these two individuals that apparently are going through a process. Okay? It's a process, right? So now that her energies are balanced, it needs to simmer down and would like to take a new task for those gifts that she has. So there's gifts and there's things that they have and there's things that they can make better for themselves. Okay? So there hasn't been an incarnation since the last one. And what this really to put it all in a nutshell, what I want to say is that because we're going through the ascension process, some beings get a chance to come to Earth and allow themselves to experience the assistance, the help that they're offering to compensate for the lack that they couldn't in the past. That's why the ascension is so important. That's why there are beings that are going to incarnate here and let's just say, I just want to be there because it's going to elevate me so much and so well that my soul is going to grow. You know, I've heard this quoted before somewhere, I can't remember, but all the credit goes to the person that said this. And they said, we're just souls living a human experience, learning. And this is all just me kind of reiterating the same thing over again, kind of for myself, so I can understand it. And I'm just going to read here what I wrote. If you carry over baggage from a previous experience, from a previous experience incarnation, you will face a similar experience that makes you feel responsible. So you'll be experiencing a responsibility that carries over from a previous incarnation, and you feel this burden of I need to help, or maybe I just, or I need to suffer, or I need to go through scrutiny in my life because of certain experiences. And these are minor things compared to the bigger picture of what your main life goal is. So I'd like to have you think for a second of a ladder, and there's rungs to every ladder. Between the bottom floor and the first rung is your first to third level of density in dimensions. From your first rung to your second rung, let's suppose that is the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. Okay? If you're a fifth dimensional being living at third dimension experiences, you have a veil, which is that first rung that doesn't allow you to know what has happened or what kind of experiences you lived in your past. That's going to go away. You're going to start to experience the things that you've had in the past. It's easy to put this in a negative context because you have positive experiences. But why can you remember them? These are your aptitudes. These are the positive things about you. These are the things that you bring with you to this lifetime, and you can live out those positive experiences. Oh, well, this person is a great businessman. And, if you want to look back into his family history, maybe there isn't so much of a kind of attitude for that. But this particular person has an aptitude for business, or has an aptitude for leadership, or has an aptitude to solve problems. Well, these are those things that carried over from a higher dimension manifested in your physical experience that you're having on earth right now. Those negative things that we so much focus on are the tasks, are the tribulations, and they're the what's the word? They're the lack of participation that has to be bestowed upon you. It has to be constantly present in your life, and you think, why is it I always have bad luck with certain things? Do you see the balance? Do you see how these opposing things interact together? And I'm not trying to qualify any one thing being positive or negative over the other, but I can bring it to you as plain and as easy as I can understand so that you have an idea of what to look for and what to work on and what to make better of yourself. Okay. I have a few other things here that I just gotten together. I'm not sure if I should start putting any of these things out, but it feels like a certain group of individuals have forgotten that this has happened, but I remember it very clearly, and I'm just putting these things into words for myself. I'm just going to throw one out there because I'd hate to leave you hanging. So if you ask a question, you will get an answer. undoubtedly you'll get an answer. So, one question they had at one point was, why him and not me? And the answer was because he has more experience. And again, it was asked differently. And that answer was because he was here before you were here. Excuse me for a second. It's getting chilly out here. Okay. Because he was here before you were here. So there was a question about why does he get to do these things, or why is this person just at a level where we can't quite, do it ourselves? And they received their answer. The other one was, yes, you can stop the ascension process. Why would anyone want to do that? The other one was, you can see the future. I like to think that I am aligned with Source, and through practice and discipline, acquire the divine. I'm trying to read my own writing here. And through the practice of discipline, acquire the divine gift of future events. Through discipline and practice and meditation and being conscientious about what resonates with you. There is no, there isn't a way to skip steps in the process. There's just not. You can't just jump. All you can do is have these positive attributes that are carried over and express themselves through you in this physical form for you to have a pretty clear idea there's something out there that's better. But this 3D lockdown that exists, some just can't get out of that mentality and break free from those chains that hold you down, no matter how many books you're read or presented to, or how many times your guiding angels try and point you in the right direction. There's very little they can do. They can only show you the door. You're the one that has to go through the door. Nobody's going to push you into the pool of water that's waist deep, even if it is waist deep. So I'm going to leave you with this, which is one of the guiding principles that I like to always go back to as a core value. Then I repeat to myself and I enforce it when it needs to be enforced. It's very simple. You do not interrupt another soul while is learning. I would not put myself in a position where I allow myself to walk you in a direction where you need to go. I wouldn't do that. Right? I'm not going to push you into a pool of water that's waist deep if I know it's waist deep. You're the one that has to go in the pool of water on your own terms. Okay? You do not bother. You do not interact. You carefully notice when there is a hypothetical wall that you say to yourself, you know what? Because of my experiences and my past lives and all the things that have accumulated, I know better than to go past this point. That you're on your own. Can only take you this far. I think it relates to like the Wizard of Oz, how every step of the journey, there was always a fork in the road where one of the guys would say, "Okay, this is as happy as I'm willing to go as with you guys on this journey. I wish you the best. Go on and do what you have to do. Finish the movie." So I just want to leave you with that. I want to thank you again for watching. I hope that I've cleared enough of your questions and your inquiries that you have, and that you have a good rest of your weekend. And I'll see you soon. Have a good one.